to, oh, okay.
That was me. Go ahead. Keep going.
It's a great way to set everything up for yourself. So you can put the exact directions in that you want. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Ariel, and I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, thank you. All right. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Yes. So we're going to go over Showingtime, and Showingtime not only is a program you guys use to schedule your showings when you are representing a buyer, but the big part of it is to be able to set up your listings. So using your listings, this is where, if you have a listing and you have all these showings, Showingtime helps, keep the scheduling smooth so you guys don't have to do that. It also, once the showing is complete, automatically gives the showing agent an email after with some questions requesting feedback from them. And there's tons of different things you guys could do with that feedback. You can create graphs and charts to send to your client, tons of different things. We'll go through all that. But the biggest thing I wanted to go over, the majority of this training is going to be about how to set up your Showingtime directions in the instructions. So previously in the past, Showingtime allowed it to where when our administrative assistants entered your listing in there, we also had access for your Showingtime instructions. So as long as you guys told us, hey, this is how I want my instructions, our admins could just take care of that for you. Showingtime has now removed that function. So this is definitely something that you guys are going to want to pay attention to for when you do have a listing to get your instructions set up once your listing is live. And also, although we're going to go over it all today, I do have step-by-step instructions, like a procedure that I will send out to everybody at the end of the training as well. And of course, you guys could contact me at any time if you have questions too. Okay, so to start with your listing. So you activate your showing in your Showingtime instructions the minute that the listing goes live. You do not want to set anything up prior to the actual listing going live because it will cause Showingtime delays. So that's a very important step to remember in the beginning. Make sure you wait until that show or until that listing is active. If you wait, you don't want to wait too long after, it's because people are going to start requesting, your showings right away. So typically once your showing becomes active, you can go into your MLS here. Everybody has access to this. If you hit add edit, and then you can select which listing that you are going into. And then from there, it will bring you to this screen. And then from there, you have the spot down here called Showingtime. And this is where you click to get your instructions going. So this is an active showing of mine that I do actually already have the instructions set up, but we will still go over everything. And again, I do have instructions for you guys that I will send out at the end. So right here, once you go in, this is your main screen, and you kind of just want to go through step by step to get everything set up. And from there, it's very simple. So the first question it always asks you is, do you want to allow showing agents to request appointments online? This is very important to make sure you hit yes. If you forget to hit yes, everything else that you set up down here will do nothing. So always make sure that you click yes there so it can work for you. If you do by chance have a listing that you don't want to go through Showingtime, you specifically just want to handle every showing by yourself, of course, there's the no answer for you as well. But most likely everybody wants to do this. So the next question is, allow showing agents to request virtual appointments. So this question popped up during COVID, but this is something that they kept because a lot of people have agents, if they don't live in town, that they have their agents come in and do a virtual showing for them. So I always just it's defaulted to in-person and virtual appointments. I would recommend just leaving it at that. Don't bother changing any of these. It just allows more showing possibilities for you. Your next question here is, what type of appointment is this? And there are a few different options. You have three options you can choose from. One of them is called appointment required. And this is the option a lot of people use when you have somebody living in the house. Or, if you want to actually have a request sent to you to be able to have to say yes or no and review what the request is prior to actually accepting this appointment. So that's what this one is. And we'll go into that in a little bit for the details of the appointment. The next option is courtesy call or go and show. A lot of people use this one for houses that are vacant. This is something that the agent still has to go on and request the appointment. However, it will get approved immediately. It will not have to go to you for your approval, and it will automatically give them the showing instructions as long as the time they requested is available. This other option is view instructions only. I will admit, I personally haven't used this one, but I do think that this is good for if you have a difficult showing where maybe somebody needs to come contact you first prior to being able to actually see the calendar with the available dates and times. So that's something that you can click on as well, but the majority of them is appointment required or go and show. So we're going to fill everything out, based off of this. This specific listing that I have is a go and show. So I am just going to work with that first, just to show you guys the most important parts with the go and show. Again, this is for vacant houses that you are okay with anybody going in at any time, as long as it's approved. So with the go and shows, I don't need somebody, I don't need the text message letting me know. I just always want an email to kind of notify of the fact that there is a showing that's actually been confirmed. So from here, this is where, your information will automatically pop up. Also, this is something to note. If you have a listing where you are the co-listing, if you're the listing agent number one, your information will go in there immediately. If you have a co-listing agent with you, or if you want another agent to handle the showings, anything like that, you will automatically have to add them in. And you can do so by hitting add new co-listing agent. And then from there, you can search their information if they're in the same office as you. I co-list a lot of properties with Jenna, and her and I are actually in different offices. So I have to scroll down to my source, which is for our whole company. And then I search her name and it comes right up. So her and I both receive email notifications anytime that somebody requests a showing for us. So from there, what we need to do is to be able to kind of determine what type of notice that we want for these actual showings. So do you want someone to be able to request it as soon as possible? Maybe they're in the neighborhood. Again, this is a vacant house. Maybe they are in the neighborhood and they're right around the corner and want to be able to get in
Excuse me.
right away. What
People
was
need,
that?
excuse me for a minute. People need to mute themselves. We're getting some feedback.
I actually think that might be Jim on the other side of my door. Can you guys hold on 1 second? I'm so sorry. Hold on.
Also, please, Charlene, mute yourself. Michelle, mute yourself. And Robert Rentz, mute yourself. Thank you.
Okay, we're back. Sorry if that feedback was going. Okay, so back to this. So vacant house. We are on vacant. This part down here, appointment restrictions, talks about if there's certain time. So again, for vacant houses, I want someone to be able to get in as much as possible. So I just leave it with the lead time and I put 0. I don't care, they could be around the corner requesting it. So I always leave that. And this specific setting will allow the person to be able to request it immediately. If this house is occupied, we'll go back through this again and you might want to change it. But again, for a vacant house, this is the best option for you. Minimum appointment time and maximum appointment time. This is important that you do want to fill it in, because if you do not, a showing agent could request up to 2 hours of their time to show the house. That is something that you don't want to allow to happen, because you're missing all these opportunities if it's a busy evening or, more people want to come in. So you want to make sure, my recommendation, I always do 15 minutes to 45 minutes if it's a bigger house. A lot of people do 30 minutes too, totally up to you guys. Scheduling overlaps. This question talks about, do you want it to be where it's just one agent and that their client at the time looking at it, or do you want to allow it to where you can have more people seeing it? Like, could more than one agent request the same time slot at the same time? And then also, if you do that, can you notify the other agent? I highly recommend keeping them exclusive. However, I understand there are some hard times where showing availability is limited and you have to work with the time you have. If you are going to do that, I would recommend doing the please tell the showing agent ahead of time, so they do know and they have that courtesy, the fact that there will be other showings and clients there. And then this part also, you can do showing restrictions here as well, but I will get into that for when we come back and do this again is the occupied house. So down here, still working as the vacant, I have a, how can the agent access the home? So you have a combination. I put what the combination is and where the location of the lockbox is. And then from there, you can put your notes down here, which I will get back. We'll go into more detail when we come back around. So vacant house is very easy, nothing too crazy. It makes it very easy for you that you don't have to field all the calls and people can come and go as they need to. Okay, so to go back up, if you were to click appointment required, so this is where you want to, you'll have this extra box. I don't know if you guys saw it, it just popped up here. Can confirm appointments by and notify of confirmed appointments. So some people want text messages and email. You can pick whichever one you want to actually receive it. I still prefer emails. So as my showing requests come in, if I have an email come through, that allows me to be able to accept, deny, change the appointment. I know a lot of agents do text and email, so that's completely up to you. So from there, if you were to do that, so if you had it to where you actually needed requests or you needed to actually talk to your client to let them know, this is where you do want to have some sort of advance notice. So maybe you have a client that says, I do not want anything over 24 hours. I need at least 24-hour notice. You are going to put no same day appointments. That will not allow anyone Monday morning to be able to request an appointment for Monday night. Or maybe your client is kind of flexible and, Monday night wouldn't be terrible as long as they knew about it. You could go back to lead time and require at least 12 hours. So it's however you talk with your client, you find out what their request is and how they want to allow the showings to go through. If you do have a client that, is pretty flexible, however, somebody requests a time that is not something that works for you, you're more than welcome to decline it. Or, you can propose a new time when you receive the email request. Same thing with kind of the minimum and the maximum appointment length. If your house is occupied, then however your clients want them, I still would not go any further than 45 minutes. Some people are going to, if you have those pre-offer inspections that come through, they might request 2 back-to-back appointments, but that could be something that you potentially kind of see coming through that you might say, why did they do 2 back-to-backs like this? That allows you to call that agent and see why they're doing this, to see what the point of the showing is. And then same with this part with the exclusive appointments or the overlapping. One other thing you could do for occupied properties, some people want to do this, you can also add the owner occupant. So apparently I've never done this, so I apologize. If you add your owner occupant, you can actually add your owner there, and then you could put their name in there. So they get the showing requests, and they're the ones who are responsible for the actual showing instructions. Everybody's different. Everyone has their own personal preference. As an agent, I would recommend you keep track of the showings, because this is something you might be able to kind of filter as they come through. Of course, we want all the showings as possible, but I just recommend taking them for yourself and then to be able to contact your client and let them know. The biggest part of it is communication. So this is a way to keep in touch during the time. Hey, we have, 4 new showings. These are the times. But if you want to, that option is there for you as well. So also, one other thing about this part that you can use is if there's any restrictions that are required. So you might have someone who's like, you know what, I'm not available anytime from Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So you could go in here and add your restriction through that part. You can do a one-time showing restriction just for one day, or you can do a reoccurring one as well. So that's what this section would be for you. And then that is something that you guys could do anytime. So back to here with the combination part of it. So this is where you want to put if you are doing a manual lockbox or if you have a super box. And then from there, if it's a manual lockbox, it will automatically ask you what the combination is. Or if you click the super box, you could just get rid of the code and then put where it actually is. Let me just put this back because this is a real showing. I apologize. And then from there, your next part down here asks you take your showing instructions here. So this is where you might want to talk about anything specific. Maybe there is a, for example, for this specific house, we left the garage door opener in the kitchen and it needs to stay there. We don't want it moved. We don't want someone to take it out, put it somewhere else. So this is a note that anytime somebody gets approved for a showing, they will see this. This is where you might want to say, please take off your shoes. Please leave a business card. Please turn the lights off. Return the key to the lockbox once complete. You would think that's common knowledge, but a lot of people don't do that and they take the key with them. So just something good to kind of have in their mind. Another good thing you can have something here would be maybe there was a alarm. So you can do alarm details up here. And if you have an alarm that maybe when they get in, they have to tuck the code in very quickly, you could put that up here as well as down here in your showing instructions as well. And then also directions, pretty much, I know everybody uses GPS, but I just try to make it as basic as possible just so they have something for you. Okay, so before I move on to the next part, does anybody have questions on how to enter instructions with your showings? You can unmute yourself if you do. Anybody?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can I ask, hi, Ariel, it's Ann Cater. One
Hi.
stupid question.
No stupid questions. Go ahead.
When I put mine in, what does push mean? We have text, email, push.
I am going to say that would be something to do with their paid access, which we don't have because we have the access that comes with the MLS. So don't worry about that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Anybody else?
Very clear, very well done.
Oh, thank you. So the next part. So now you have your show. Let me just save changes. So nothing here. Hold on one moment, guys. It's a real listing, active listing. So I just want to make sure nothing here is getting too messy here. Daytime, we're good. Okay. So what we want to do, now you have your active listing, you have your showings, everything's going well, the feedback's coming in, maybe it's where the spring market where you've had 35 showings and now it's time you started to receive offers, or maybe there's something you want to notify somebody and you want to let them know, hey, I have this many offers, or offers will be reviewed tomorrow. I know if there's delayed showings, we already make that note in the MLS, but maybe you want to say, I will be meeting with my client tomorrow. We have 4 offers. Please make sure your highest and best is submitted. Or this is a reminder that offers are due. So instead of having to go through and emailing every single person who showed your house, this is something you can do if you click your listing activity report. This brings you to a part where it shows you how many appointments that you've had. It kind of gives you, your feedback, where it came from and everything, how it's going. And then also it tells you if you have any feedback or if you have future listings or listings that have already occurred. So this is just kind of where you can see it all at once. So the one other thing I do want to point out, I highly encourage you guys to come in and play with this, but the biggest part is the send notification. If you do this, this is a way you can kind of send an automatic email to everybody who has showed your house. So agents that have shown my property in the last 180 days, including future appointments. This is my recommendation. You can also do this if you've had a price adjustment. Maybe the house just got reduced and you want to bring everybody just to let them know. I usually click other, and then from here I would put multiple offers, and then you could just say, good morning. We currently have 3 offers on the property and we'll be reviewing tomorrow at 12 a.m. or a.m. p.m. Please be sure to email all highest and best offers prior to the deadline. It's just a way that everybody will receive this email then, and then it'll let you know how many are getting it and from there. So I'm not actually going to send this, but I just wanted to let you guys know that that is an option as well for you. So that's kind of a good way to be able to use this to talk to everybody. It's a quieter time right now, on this specific listing, we've only had 5 appointments, but those showings or those listings where you potentially had 20, 30 showings, this is a great way to be able to speak with everybody. So I highly, again, encourage you guys to come in and play with this, see some of the reports you can pull. This is great if you have a listing that maybe is listed too high. And one of those questions that they receive with their showing time feedback is, what is your opinion on the price? Too high, too low? Maybe they'll tell you some comments. It's great to be able to print reports. You can email the report. You can do anything you need to be able to show that to your client. So great things to have. It's a huge tool for your listings to keep it very organized for you, to be able to keep your showings going and, kind of keep everything to where you'll have access and you'll have that full, I guess, the grip on everything that's happening with your listing. So any questions?
Quick one.
Yes.
Is this a place that you would then put, because it's the most common question that everybody seems to be asking now is, what is the commission paid from the seller side?
You cannot put that on here. So there's actually when you first log in, so the showing time, if you actually look up here in the little left-hand corner, it's the showing time for the MLS. So the showing time is something that is actually processed through the MLS for you, and we cannot use the MLS to disclose compensation. So unfortunately, that is, at first that was everyone's kind of thought process on it, is this is a good way, but now there's actually specific notifications on here that pop up and say you cannot use showing time to disclose any sort of compensation. Oh, I just checked the
Thank you.
chat. Mike, oh, you're welcome. Michael Thorpe, I just saw your notification. Push notifications through the app. So, Anne, if you have the app downloaded, I guess it goes through there. Sorry, I've never used that part of it. Anybody else have any questions? I know this is kind of a shorter list or training, but I just really wanted to go over this. It's super important to have this stuff ready because, again, the administrative assistants, unfortunately, will no longer have access to do this. We can, help you through and work you through it on how to do it, but this is definitely something you guys want to know. So this training is recorded and will be uploaded into my hub. And I also have created a step-by-step procedure with arrows and circles and all the fun stuff that I will email to everybody as well.
Ariel, do you have a quick question?
Yeah.
So if I have a home for sale and the owner is listed on here to get notifications and they have to be the one to approve it, I obviously would get a notification that they approved the showing, correct?
So you'll want to make sure you are included in this contact part of it. Hold on. Let's see if we can make this work. Search by seller's name, John Smith. Oh, okay. So you would have to go from add here and add their information. So if you go back to this appointment required, then if you have this section here that says can confirm appointments by and notify of confirmed appointments by, you'll want to have you under the notify of confirmed appointments, and you'll want to have your client under the can confirm as well. Does that make sense, Denise?
Yes.
Okay. All right, anybody else? All right, well then I hope everybody has a very good day. And then if I don't talk to anybody, have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you very
Excellent
much.
class. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fabulous.
Thank you much,
Thank
Ariel.
you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great day and a wonderful Thanksgiving.